Okay, we're going to look at the last line in this rhythm generator tab under the Midi mutator, and that's this slice where it says slice, two slices, and we can just type in the number we want. So let me undo that. So I've gone back to our original phrase, and it's a real simple arpeggio. You can see it starts on C, just plays the triad and goes back to the root. So we got C, E, G, back to C in measure 1. And then we go to the F triad, F, A, C, back to F in measure 2. Measure 3, we've got the G, G, B, D, back to G, and then returning to the tonic C, C, E, G, C. So we've got the simplest arpeggio, basically. Okay, so the first thing to understand is what's getting sliced here. And the answer to that, basically, although I think there are going to be some exceptions, but essentially we're slicing the whole phrase. So it's looking, and by that I mean these 4 measures. Whatever we've got in here, let's call it the phrase. And we're going to slice the phrase. Forget about, for the moment, slicing the notes. Let's just think about slicing the phrase. So how can we slice a phrase up? Well, you know, the easiest way, I suppose, would be, okay, let me back up a second. When we slice the phrase, what we're going to do is to rearrange the slices, okay? All right, so let's say we've got, in this case, we've got 4 measures or 4 bars. This phrase is made up of 4 bars. Now, if we sliced it into 4 parts, 4 equal parts, we'd have measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4. And we can arrange these measures in different orders. So in other words, we could have measure 1 followed by measure 4, followed by measure 3, followed by measure 2, or we could have measure 4 followed by measure 2, followed by measure 3, followed by measure 1. You get the idea. So if you think of these measures as kind of like playing cards, we can shuffle the playing cards and change the order of the cards, or in this case, the order of the measures. So that's the first thing to understand, or to kind of conceptualize with this tool here. We're talking about slicing and rearranging our phrase or our measures, what have you. Okay, so here's the simplest example I could come up with is this slice it in 2 along 2/4, which is a half note, right? So let's click on this and see the result. Okay, so here's what's happened. The measure 1 is moved to measure 3. So measure 1 was the C triad, right? And that's moved to measure 3. And measure 2, which had been the F triad, FAC, that's moved to measure 4. So we've kind of like split this phrase down the middle, and we've moved measures 1 and 2 over to 3 and 4, and measures 3 and 4 we moved over to measures 1 and 2. So we split it down the middle and kind of mirror imaged it, right? And I'll go back again so you can just confirm for yourself. You see measure 1 is the C, measure 2 is the F, and then that's going to get moved over, and then what's going to move back to the left is going to be the G triad and the C. So let me redo it, and we've got the G triad and the C and the C and the F. Okay, So that's the first step in kind of understanding this tool here. All right, I'm gonna pause here and try to work on the next example so we can kind of take this one step at a time. I find it kind of confusing, but I think we'll get it. Okay, so let's take a pause and I'll come back.